Right. I'm fond memories. Well, which part are we talking about? No. The appendix is a real one. It can get replenished. So that's the problem. Yes. I think we're gonna get free samples. That's why I came. That's big old yeah.
Auburn, Alabama.
It's gotta be a crazy business. One customer can make Yeah, I'm real glad I didn't know that, but of course, at that time, I was an unemployed student, so 3 months salary didn't. Where Johnny came from. We lost Johnny not the best. Well, I know where it was. You're still there. She liked her wife. Spring 1969. Well, we got engaged in January and off the range in May. And 2 years left on her undergraduate degree. Told our parents. We got married, so when you pay kids, the grandchildren can't even fathom that when I went across the street from our apartment to get a loaf of bread, a gallon of milk, I wanted to get a Milky Way. We had to discuss it before I went. No, it might have been more than a convenience store. Yes. Oh.
All right, good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to the Rotary Club of Greater Huntsville. Got a great group in here. Look, Michael Spalding's here today. Mike, good to see you, buddy. It's been a while. Hey, all right. You guys all stand with us. We're gonna kick off the song with Bill Renfro, who brought the bass today. I'm excited about that. It's the first time I've seen the bass. Bill?
We're gonna do a little Roy Orbison today. I think Elvis recorded this too. It's a little boogie woogie in A, and probably Roy Orbison. That concert that he did in Houston called Black and White. He had every musician on there you could think of. James Burton, Elvis Costello, T. Boone Burnett, just all of those things on there. But anyway, it's a great thing to look at. But anyway, this is one of the songs off of that. Well, I got a woman mean as she can be. I got a woman mean as she can be. Sometimes I think she's almost mean to me. She got pretty lips, she got shapely hips. Once she makes them roll at me, I got a woman mean as she can be. Sometimes I think she's almost mean as me. Yeah, I ain't bragging, it's understood. Everything I do, I should do good. I got a woman mean as she can be. Sometimes I think she's almost mean as me. She got curvy lips, she got shapely hips. Oh, she makes them roll at me. I got a woman mean as she can be. Sometimes I think she's almost mean as me. Yeah, I got a woman. 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 Sometimes I think she's almost mean as me.
Sometimes I think she's almost. Amen. I guess the song recovers itself.
I know, but I would dedicate that to my wife if she's here today. So. Awesome. And Tim, you can lead us to the pledge. Awesome.
Still.
Flag of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right. President-elect nominee, Greg, for the prayer.
All right. Y'all bow your heads. Lord, we come to you this morning. We lift families in Texas that are suffering such unimaginable losses. We lift families all through our nation that are dealing with mental illness. We ask for your discerning guidance as parents, as people, as citizens, and as Rotarians. How do we discern paths forward? How do we work with others? How do we lift others appropriately so that things that happened yesterday never happen again? Amen. Lord, please bless the food that's presented to us today to use for bodies. Please bless those hands that prepared it. In your son's name we pray. Amen.
Amen.
All right, go ahead and take a couple minutes to finish eating and we'll start in just a minute.
Hi, Johnny. How you doing today? I have to say, Jim, are you doing well? Yep. Yeah, well, we're all there.
How are you?
Jim and Art, y'all doing
Coming
well?
to join us? Right there.
Oh, what's the latest with the almost third grandchild? Everything okay?
Things are going good. We're up there yesterday.
Be any weakness?
It's, 37. We run for preschool graduation. There you go. There you
I think so.
Yes. There was one on the end, so we didn't have to negotiate around that TV thing. How are y'all doing?
Yeah, it should be able to go a lot.
Trying to drum up.
In Pulaski, on a two-wheeler, by the time she's 10 or 12. Yeah, it's about flat.
It was.
Well, how do we use our point to help somebody? I said, okay, let's play the game. Have you been
You will.
yes,
I'm either, actually it's confusing. So I'm at my Paul Harris plus. And I have 1,019. Like, please, security, my plus, give them to somebody else. Oh, okay, so I don't need my plan to become a Paul Harris, too, I automatically don't. Yeah, I don't know where I am either. You got that. You got to get behind the tall parents. He wipes out.
You need $625.
That's what to get to the +3.
Yes.
Well, hello, everyone. It's time to welcome our guest today. We have two visiting Rotarians. And one of them, of course, is Robert Barnes from Madison. Welcome, Robert. And Tom Lemieux, also from Madison. Our guest today, I actually have a guest, Megan Owens. Megan is with UAH. And Chris, would you like to introduce your family?
My son CJ, my daughter Isabel.
Please stand. And Hal, would you like to introduce your guest?
Yes, my guest. First of all, I'm not a visitor.
Good for me.
My wife Vivian, who with me next June 3rd, next week, will have been married 732 months. Before you get your calculation on that, it's going to be 61 years next month.
Welcome to everyone.
All right, we've got a great group here today. Appreciate y'all, all the guests being here as well. We're gonna jump right in. Little suspect speaker today, but we're excited about the presentation anyway. Our own Reed Kloss, gemologist. But Reed also is gonna be our youth service chair for next year, so we're excited about that. He's partnering with our own Donnie Rye. They're working on some great projects and plans with Alabama School of Fiber Technology and Engineering and Interact, so we're excited about that. 20-year Rotarian and a Paul Harris Fellow, so thanks, Reed. Appreciate you. All right, upcoming presentation. So next week, Derek Simpson, Huntsville lawyer and NFL agent with the Malcolm Butler story, will be here speaking to us. That should be fairly interesting. Brandy Quick, the director for Ditto Landing, will be here on June 8th. We're also going to have an update from our member Sam Lowry about the Senegal water pump project as well. So we'll have two updates there. June 15th, Norbert Webley, owner of Now Sports Academy, who's on the Jamaica national team for soccer and University of North Carolina. June 22nd, we've got somebody good lined up, but we haven't quite confirmed, so we'll let you know about that. And then we're really looking forward to June 29th, Founders Day. Email went out today about the Paul Harris Fellow Initiative. Please take a look at that. Reach out to Bill Ryan with any questions. We'll talk a little bit more about that today. We're really looking to end the year strong and celebrate all the great giving that this club does. Special thanks to Jay and Penny Billings. Thank you, guys. Give them a hand. We had a great Christmas on Saturday. I think it was one of the better turnouts. The food was fabulous. Had a great day out there. So thank you, everybody that made it out there. And those that were supposed to come and didn't make it, we'll get you next year. You look at you. Veterans Memorial Cleaning. Hey, guys, this is a big one. This is this Saturday. It's going to be 8 o'clock. As you know, Memorial Day is Monday. There's a lot of events planned with replaying at the memorial site on Monday. And so our work on Saturday becomes even that more important. So if we can get a great turnout for this, that'd be awesome, because we're going to give it a really good deep cleaning and could use all the help that we can. So keep in mind, we are now back at 8 o'clock since it's summertime on doing the memorial cleaning. So hope to see you all there. Member announcements. We talked about the Paul Harris Club Initiative. Please read the email. Again, what we're looking for you to do is see where you are at on Paul Harris Fellow. See if you're ready to move up a level. Also see if you have points that you would want to donate to a club member or to a family member or to someone in the community that really does service above self. And we are kind of in a tight timeline. We've got a couple of weeks to kind of get this all shaked out so we can be ready for June 29th. So please, any questions, see Will or myself. Our email addresses are in that email that we sent out. And we also have some guides in there with some attachments for you, okay? New member orientation, we're tentatively scheduled for next Thursday, June 2nd at 5 o'clock. I haven't confirmed with Redstone if we've got a room here yet, but we'll at least have Zoom and we are gonna see if there's a room available at that time. But anybody that's been a new member this year, we've got quite a few that have not been through orientation. You will receive an email from us and a calendar invite from us on that. If you can't make it, just give us another date, and we'll schedule another one in June. We want to get everything through by the end of June. With that, that's all the announcements that I have. Will, come on up. And then I'll have you finish us off too, okay?
With respect to Founder's Day, normally we have to close the giving opportunity about a month before because I have to send the paperwork and get the pins back. But we've accumulated so many extra pins that I think we can go up to about probably to the meeting before Founder's Day to receive contributions. So that gives everybody a little extra time to figure it all out. If you see me, if you want to know where you stand in terms of your next level. But wait, there's more. Well, I've got to announce a serious medical condition. It's my father refers to it as the dread squill, but its technical term is UT symbiosis. And UT stands for ugly toenails. I like to walk barefoot, especially in the summer in the house. And my wife, she always averts her gaze, but you know, if she spots them, she goes like this. And if the dog spots him, he rolls over, whimpers and plays dead. That's the bad news. The good news is we spend almost nothing on candy at Halloween because when I walk out to see the kids at the front door in bare feet, they run away screaming. I never asked for candy. Oh, and one more. This Friday, my wife and I will celebrate 50 years of nuptial bliss. The bad news is I've been married for 50 years to that woman.
Hey, Reed, he needs to redeem himself after this.
Jim?
Sit over there like him.
Yeah, you were doing good for a while, and then you missed it up.
Well, I have a brag. This coming Friday, Carol and I will celebrate our 50th wedding anniversary. It's a fabulous 50 years.
Yeah.
You win. Smart man, Dan. Glad I had you go after Will, for sure. All right, any other announcements? All right, with that, Billy, I'm sorry. Come on.
I have a brag. I graduated from FBI's Citizen Academy last week. So it was an awesome opportunity to go through that program. And if you don't know about it, just get with me and I'll explain it to you. Okay? Thanks.
Oh, dude. Interesting for a speaker today. We didn't put anybody in here to introduce our speaker.
No.
Maybe that was intentional. No, I like, I'll introduce Mr. Reed Foss. Fabulous Rotarian, works super hard for this club, does a lot behind the scenes that, no one ever sees what's going on. It's helped us with the partnership with the Scouts, Veterans Memorial Cleaning, Paul Harris Fellow has been in this club a long time and done amazing things for all of us, and a good friend of mine. So with that, Reed Kloss, come on up.
Thanks, buddy. I hope that toenail disease is not contagious. Well, I'm honored today to be able to come to you guys and speak. Now, of course, Chris has been saying, if you're coming, what did he say this whole time?
Example.
Bring examples. So, I brought a treasure chest of samples. All right, and I'm willing to give everybody a sample. How about that? And these are loose gems, all natural, all good size, and we'll start with the ladies. And you guys can come up. This is not my presentation. These are the part of the samples. So I'm gonna leave them out. Ladies first, I want y'all to come up, grab a sample, and there's all kinds of gems if you want them set. I know a good gem. There's everything from topaz to aquamarine, amethyst. There's some peridot, there's some labradorite, there's some unusual gems in here. And they're all natural. So I brought samples. Let's do ladies, and then the men's can grab it. And I'll have Mrs. Kern here, Miss Kern, to go around and take these to the ladies first. Okay? And let them have it, okay? Am I ready? Can I start? There. Blacked it out. Can everybody hear me? Of course you can. I'm like Cliff, right?
Yeah, all
It's
right.
gonna be a little easier for me to stand over here and talk about important diamonds and gems. I had it on here, then we were gonna talk about important diamonds, gemstones and watches, but we don't have enough time. I could go around and talk about diamonds probably without taking a breath for about 4 days. There's that much to know about diamonds and gemstones. So today, we're gonna focus on a few really cool diamonds, and some diamonds you already know about, okay? So let's move on. My biography, there's nothing new here, except this one little statement right here. See what this says? Everybody can see that? By the way, who is typing this? This is my wife. She wanted to get credit on my bio. So everything else, my dad started in the business in 52. I'm a second generation jeweler gemologist. Grew up in Jefferson City, Missouri, the state capital, small rural town, about 33,000. Type of town where you walk down the street, you know everybody, call them by the first names. Great town to grow up in. Attended Columbia College, dropped out, blah, blah, blah. Joined the Marine Corps, 81. Did my 4 years in that, 2 years in active, blah, blah, blah. After that, GIA graduate gemologist. A little time elapsed in there. The GIA stands for Gemological Institute of America. It is world renowned for a nonprofit. They teach people about gems, diamonds, jewelry. You do 4 different programs. They condense it in 6 months program. It's from 9 to 5. That is not a 2-hour class, a 3-hour class. It's condensed in 6 months. So it's a full 6 months of school. After that, I worked in Rodeo Drive. That's for another story. Let's just say I got an opportunity to work with some of the finest antique and estate jewels you'll ever see. That was for Frances Klein. Since then, Mrs. Klein died, sold the business on Rodeo Drive. When I worked there, a little story real quick, in the late 80s, not that far before I started there, they had Van Cleef and Arpels on Rodeo Drive, had a robbery. They had taken the staff hostage. They called in the SWAT team in Beverly Hills, and the SWAT team shot the manager by mistake. Okay, killed him. And so after that moment in the late 80s, every single jewelry store had a double buzzer. So you walked into a gate, they closed the gate, and you waited for another one to open. That's just with security. It's still like that today. So it changed the way we worked and looked in Rodeo Drive. Rodeo Drive is an interesting place to work. You get to look out the window and see 16-year-olds driving Bentleys, okay? And that's the truth, and they owned them. In those days in the 80s, it was the rappers and rap bands and the Chinese and the Saudis. The Saudi royal family shop there. Of course, the royal family is 600 members. And those guys shopped with cash too, which was great. After my dad got sick, worked in Mayor's Jewelers, Palm Beach. I did some museum. I got to work with the Patek Philippe there, watch company, brought their museum open over there, worked with Albert Einstein's watch. I was holding it, Madame Curie's, Pope Pius. Had a really great education on Patek Philippe, and I can tell you more about that, but that's not this presentation. Opened Grogan Jewelers in 94 to 99, 99 to today. Opened Cloth Diamond Center, Met my beautiful wife in '04. Most important thing on this bio, have two beautiful kids, and they, you guys already know, go to AFCTE, which helps to have our foot in the door. So with Mr. Matt. So we're going to tell you a little bit about diamonds. I'm not going to go a lot of detail because our presentation's quick. So you can't really see this chart too good, can we? So these are the different sizes of diamonds and different shapes, right? And you can't read these things here, but these are millimeters that affect the shape. Shape is different from the cut of diamond. It refers to the shape of diamond. But here's an interesting thing about diamonds. If you add up, what's the most popular cut? Anybody want to guess? Round, correct. So, but ironically, if we add up all of the fancy shapes that are sold, they still don't hold all of them total. They still don't hold a candlestick to round. Round maximizes what light does within a diamond. It's the most brilliant, has the most fire, inhales light, breathes fire, is round. The other shapes do it as well, but round maximizes it. Okay, just talk a little bit about that. Back to the cut here, the chart. Ideal proportions to a diamond. This is what light travels, 186,200 miles per second, hits a diamond, slowed in half. In this case, it's single refractive, hits one side. You can see it here, bounces back up. And if the diamond is too deep or too shallow, light will leak out the sides of the battery. So cut plays 20% role in the value of a diamond. Pretty cool, okay? Yeah. Any questions on that? We'll wait for questions to the end. Clarity scale. Basically, all diamonds are a minimum of 30 million years old to 2.5 billion years. So to give you an idea of the age of natural diamonds, minimum 30 million. So, and that's from formation to mining, okay? That's not to say that they started at 30 million, that's from formation to mining. So clarity scale starts at flawless, V is for very, S is for slightly, 1 is rare or better than 2. So very, very slight, slightly included, and kind of want to stay away from these. These are included diamonds. A lot of the chain stores can sell included diamonds. And this, we talked about the color, starts at D, goes to Z. We've eliminated A, B, and C. D, E, and F are colorless, G, H, I, J, near colorless, K through Z, yellow, brown, and gray. If you're looking for a white diamond, you probably might want to say H or better. Okay, just a quick brief study on diamonds. The other factors that involve with diamonds are the cost, of course. We talk about the 4 C's, and the fluorescence in diamonds. What is fluorescence? Fluorescence is an impurity, usually boron or nitrogen in the earth. The diamond can pick it up, trace amounts, and cause it to fluoresce. Where do you see fluorescence? You see it in the sunlight, UV rays, okay? That's where you notice most of the fluorescence. And what we do at my store, or what I do, we have a short wave and long wave box that we can check fluorescence with because it adds into the value. If the diamond is fluorescent, it brings the value down a little, not a lot. If it has, and we grade it by faint, medium, and strong. If it's strong, it can bring the value down. Medium and faint doesn't do a whole lot, but something. So anyway, a quick understanding on diamonds. Okay, that's all this was here on that. But we're going to move on because that's not why I'm here today. And here's another thing here on fluorescence. Can everybody see this? So I guess I did put that in there. None, faint. So this is this diamond. This is this diamond, and you can see how it gets stronger here on strong blue fluorescence. It can also fluoresce yellow. Okay. Nitrogen causes yellow fluorescence, boron causes blue fluorescence. Okay, fine. This chart here, this is the colored diamond chart, which is where my presentation is going to be today. Okay, out of all these diamond colors, and this is blue, and you can see yellow, green, all natural colors in the earth that form diamonds. Which of those? This one says red at the top. Anybody want to guess what the rarest color of diamond is? Any guesses? Red. Red is the rarest. And I'm going to talk to you about that if we have time. So today, we're not going to talk about these colors, but blue's very rare. Pink's very rare. And I'll tell you about where pink diamonds come from and valuation. But today's talk is, guess that gem. What gem is this?
The Hope Diamond.
the Hope Diamond. And that's what we're going to talk about a little bit today. We're going to go through that pretty quick. Hope Diamond has a very, very, very interesting history. Okay, who's seen the Hope Diamond? Quite a few, maybe 10%. So the Hope Diamond is in the Smithsonian. It's a 44.52 carat cushion shape, all right? But it has a lot of history behind it. So I'm going to teach you a little bit about the Hope Diamond. Is this the Hope Diamond? Anybody want to guess?
No.
It's not. Is that your answer? Okay, anyway, I'll teach you about that. A little bit about the Hope Diamond. In 1666, it was required by a French merchant called Jean-Baptiste Tavernier. Originally, it was called the Tavernier Blue. It was 115 carats of diamond. Okay? In 1669, sold blue. I had my wife put this 14 in there because sometimes I get it confused. In 1669, sold to King Louis XIV. Okay? And in 1678, King Louis XIV had it recut to 67 carats. So the original size of that, which most people that probably knew or forgot, was 115 carats, the Hope Diamond. It was passed down, it was recut, passed down to Louis XVI, who was married to Marie Antoinette. We all know what happened to them, right? Lost her head, right? All right, let's move on. In 1792, Louis XVI family were in prison and in the French Revolutionary War. And then in 1793, he and his wife Marie were executed. In 1805, the gem resurfaced. So there's a pretty good gap here, right? Everybody understand that gap? You see it? 1793. So it was at that point 67 carats, resurfaced to be cut again to disguise the origin of the French blue, right? The French blue was the original size of the diamond. All right? This time it was cut to where it is today, the 45.54 carat Hope Diamond. All right? In 1812, the diamond again resurfaced 2 decades. And why did it resurface? Because after it was recut, it was on the black market, right? It got recut, and whoever recut it wanted to wait the 20 year, so the statute of limitations ran out since it was stolen, and it was able to be sold again. Okay, everybody understand that? Everybody with me so far? We're on the same page. So in 1812, well, where it says it, in 1830, the diamond was acquired by a London banker. Guess what his name was? Thomas Hope, hence the Hope Diamond. That's where the Hope Diamond got its name from, but if you look back on it, it was much larger, much bigger. Okay, we're gonna move on. In 1901, Hope's heirs had to sell the diamond and pay off debt. All right, so there you go. There's the diamond. The diamond was sold to a London dealer who quickly sold it to Franklin & Son in New York. It was a flip. He made money, flipped it, boom, boom. Probably took a day or two between the time he flipped it. That's common in the business. People flip diamonds for money. In 1909, all right, whoops, Franklin turned, needed money. They acquired it. They needed money and put it up for auction in Paris in 1909. So Hope's came back to New York, and now it's back in Paris again. Everybody got that? 1909, Pierre Cartier. Everybody knows who Cartier is. Pierre Cartier acquired the famous diamond. All right? So we're going to move on. In 1910, here's where it gets interesting. The Hope Diamond was shown to Evelyn McLean of Washington, D.C. This lady was very eccentric. This is her picture. And if you look at this right here, this is where the Hope Diamond resided originally, in her tiara. Okay? That's where, before it got into the necklace it is now, the Hope Diamond was in the top of her tiara. But she wore that. See, she had Pierre Cartier design the headpiece. You see there? Because he's the one that sold it to her. All right? She kind of fell out of love. What she was a Washington, D.C. very eccentric socialite. All right? So Mrs. McLean said, I don't like it as a headpiece. Remember the the 20s, the flappers, you kind of see her look there. She said, I want it into something else. So Pierre Cartier redesigned the piece and made it into the necklace we know today. Okay, everybody got that? So Mrs. McLean owned it until 1947. All right, during that time, let's see, she would have parties at her house. And the parties, she'd bring her people in and all this, and they'd all be mingling and socializing. She would call her dog down, and the dog would have the Hope Diamond on as a collar. Okay, that's how eccentric this lady was. So, but interesting. And as we go and we know a little bit about her, we're going to talk a bit about the curse of it too here, but we'll move on here.
Yeah, I really do that.
In 1949, hold on, let me go back here for a second. I think she lived to 1949. She died, I know she did. And Harry Winston purchased the entire estate. Now, in that estate was a 94.8 carat diamond. That's not the Hope, of course, as well as the Hope diamond, a 15 carat diamond, and a very rare 9 carat green diamond. Okay, and 31 carat as well as the Hope diamond. So quite a bit of diamonds Harry Winston purchased from the McLean estate, to include the Hope, which was in its necklace that we see in the Smithsonian, designed by Cartier. All right, got it? Everybody's good. So during the 1947 to 58, Harry Winston traveled the U.S. and he took Mrs. McLean's jewels, to include the Hope diamond, and called it the Court of Jewels Exhibition, and traveled, and people were to come look at all of her, this 94, the 9 carat, the 50. I mean, it was a big thing for Harry Winston. Helped put his name on the map, right? He already had it, but it did help. So it was more of he wasn't interested in selling, he was interested in showing, kind of like a traveling exhibition. We've seen him before. All right, so got it from here, Harry Winston. And now in 1958, Harry Winston donates the Hope Diamond to the Smithsonian Institute, where it remains today. Do y'all know all that story? Some people, okay. Some of them. Well, and if you remember some of them, so forgot some. All right. We'll talk a little bit about this. If you said this is not the Hope Diamond, right? It is the Hope Diamond. All right. In 2010, the Hope Diamond, the mounting, the original mounting, the Pierre Cartier mounting, needed work. Okay, it's been sitting there for a while. So they took it out. They redesigned the necklace here in 2010, and where it remained on exhibition in the Smithsonian in this setting for 2 years. Pretty cool. Most people don't know that. So this was designed for its intern while the original setting was being redone. Temporary setting. Got it? In 2012, blah, blah, blah. Anyway, go on from there. Curse of the Hope Diamond. This is interesting. So John Baptist Travenier died, came down with a fever. He was one of the original owners of the 112 carat diamond, and his body was ravaged by wolves. So what a horrible death. Of course, we know about the king here with Marie Antoinette, lost their head. The guy that cut it, William Falls, diamond cutter, Dutch jeweler, was murdered by his son. His also son killed himself. Evelyn McLean's curse, her mother-in-law died after wearing the Hope, and her son died at age 9. Her husband left her, died in a mental institution, and her daughter died of a drug overdose at 25. So the history, one thing interesting about the Hope Diamond is when Harry Winston donated it, he was not able to take it to the Smithsonian. So guess what? He mailed it. In the U.S. Postal. We still do it today. We have insurance to mail, okay? He mailed it. I think the price was $2.99. The mailman back in, that day, the mailman that delivered it also fell on bad times. So you might want to look at it, don't touch it, don't get too close to it. I don't even know if it's safe to talk about it. So anyway, so now we're going to move on. So that was the Hope Diamond. We're talking a little bit about blue diamonds. What effect? Blue diamonds are mainly found in Africa, all right? It's primary source around the Sierra Leone area of Africa. What gives a diamond its blue? See if y'all are paying attention. Boron. Boron, trace amounts of boron. So that's what gives it. Now, to get this hue, which is hard to see, you probably see it better on this one, but to get this hue, this deep, rich hue of color, this diamond here, which is called the De Beers Chilean blue. This is 15.10 carats. This diamond was only discovered in 2021, so it's fairly new, all right? It was cut, this diamond took a year to cut by one cutter. And the reason for it is, A, they typically don't cut emerald cuts for fancies of this caliber, because to orient the table and to get that vivid blue, it takes a lot of skill, all right? Otherwise, part of your diamond may be gray, part of it might be blue, part of it might be splotchy. So to give you a feel, this diamond at Sotheby's in April, right here, was estimated to fetch, remember this is only 15 carats, 47 million. And this diamond just sold for 57 million, okay? Sotheby's Hong Kong. Now you can do the price per carat. When we look at fancy colored diamonds, we look at the description of the name. So when we say a diamond is fancy colored, it's not enough to give the value. Minute details affect value. Rarity affects value, of course. So when we're looking at a blue diamond, we say fancy light blue, fancy light yellow. Pick a color. All right. Then we go to just fancy. All right. And so fancy is another name for a strong color, but not the best color. And then almost to the best, we go to the next color is intense. When you see fancy, intense yellow, blue, value starts going up, price starts going up. What makes this one so rare, and this is the best there is if you ever see the word vivid on a description of a diamond, that means there is no better in the saturation of color in this particular one, blue. Any questions on that? Okay, fine. All right. So we talked about the rarest of rare, and that is a red diamond. And I'm going to talk to you a little bit about a red diamond. How we doing on time?
You're good.
So, got plenty of time, don't we? Better slow it down. Red diamonds are so rare that current estimates believe that there are only 20 to 30 diamonds ever mined in the world. Okay? And these start in price. I've never seen it. And I've seen a lot of gems all over. But these start at 1.5 million a carat and go up. The largest that's ever been found is and they all give them names, of course, is a 5-carat Musafa. Musafa, I think is the name of it. We're going to see it here in just a second. But we don't even know, science doesn't even know what gives it its red color. They may think it could be trace amounts of beryllium, but it's not for sure, okay? It's an interesting quagmire that science is in when they can't determine where they come from. Anybody want to guess where red diamonds come from?
Africa.
Africa, no. Anybody else? Brazil, no. No, Brazil's not a diamond place. It's a Middle East, no.
Red China.
Red China. Oh, man, perfect. Well, you guys were kind of not really close, but anyway. Australia. Okay, Australia produces some of the best pinks and best reds in the world. Okay, it's the only source for it. Problem is, that's called the Argyle mine in Australia. Problem is, they're shutting down the Argyle mine. So when they announce that, and again, it's the best pink diamonds, red diamonds. You're not going to see reds out of the Argyle, but you will see pink diamonds. Since that announcement about 2 years ago of them closing that mine, what are you supposed to happen to pink diamonds? Wow. Prices skyrocket. So if you come across a pink diamond and it looks good, you might consider buying it if it has a GIA report. That's one of the things to talk about a little bit is, how do you know what you're getting half the time? Well, again, Mike, I would say that you want a GIA, Gemological Institute of America, abbreviated GIA, laboratory report. They do not assess price, they're a nonprofit. And what they'll do is tell you the origin sometimes, and they'll also tell you the grade and whether or not it's natural or has it been, heated. So can we heat diamonds to change colors? Yes, we can. So sometimes when we heat diamonds to change colors, we take it, we put it in a cyclotron radiation unit, we run it up to between 18 to 2200 degrees, and then we cool it for 20 hours. And during the cooling process, it changes the color. The interesting thing is, we don't always know what color you're gonna get. So you might put a brown diamond in a heating unit, and you might get a beautiful fancy yellow. But sometimes you don't get a fancy color, you get something off color, and you just never know from heat. Heating gems and diamonds goes back hundreds and hundreds of years, okay? It is a very common practice. Do gems come out of the ground like these reds, this color? Yes, but they command a high price, okay? When I say they command a high price, it's about 20% over that of its counterpart being heated. Everybody got that? So red is the rarest, and you've never probably heard about it. You might never see them. I think there's one or two in the Smithsonian, but it is a very rare. So I think what we're going to do here real quick, and I'm not going to do the whole thing, is watch a little bit about red diamond. Right? Right? You got me?
Red diamonds are the rarest and most unique type of fancy colored diamond. A red diamond is a pure carbon gemstone featuring none of the chemical impurities that create other kinds of colored diamonds. Very few mines produce red diamonds. Africa, Australia, Brazil, and India are the areas known for having produced red diamonds. Of these areas, the Argyle mine in Western Australia is responsible for several famous red diamonds. Only a handful of pure red diamonds are found each year. Different than other fancy diamonds, red diamonds don't obtain their color from having impurities like nitrogen for a yellow diamond and boron for the blue diamond in their composition. In fact, the exact cause of the red diamond's color is still debated among experts. Some gemologists believe that the red shade comes from changes to the atomic structure in a process called plastic deformation that occurred during the diamond's journey to the Earth's surface. Similar to pink diamonds, it's likely that the enormous pressure the diamonds endured impacted their molecular structure. With this theory, more pressure probably meant a richer red hue. Not knowing the exact origin of the red diamond's color adds to the stone's mystery, as it's the rarest one of all the fancy colored diamonds. With red diamonds, there are no varying levels of color intensity. While other fancy colored diamonds are graded by terms like fancy, intense and vivid, red diamonds are not evaluated on that scale. The red color itself could even be considered as a supersaturated level of the pink diamond spectrum. Different modifiers, or overtones, may be present along with the red color. The most common, and probably the most aesthetically pleasing, is purplish red. Other common modifiers are brownish and orange. Stones with orange and brownish overtones are worth significantly less than pure red or purplish red diamonds. In today's video, we are going to look at some of the rarest red diamonds in the world with regards to their size, color, clarity, and cut. 10th on our list is the treated red diamonds. Since natural red diamonds are so rare and expensive, the jewelry industry has come up with more affordable options. artificially created red diamonds, which can be synthetic stones or natural diamonds that have been treated to alter their color. However, the color looks quite different than natural untreated ones. It looks more magenta in color and is worth much less. Synthetic red diamonds are created in a lab, and they have the same chemical composition as natural diamonds, so synthetics are not considered fake.
Okay, let's move on.
Lab create.
The video's a bit long, but you guys kind of get the idea on red diamonds, how rare they are. Just kind of an interesting thing. You'll have some absolutely ridiculous knowledge about red diamonds if anybody ever asks it. All right. What's the rarest tourmaline? Tourmaline, we're gonna talk about we're gonna change some, go from red diamonds to some other gemstones briefly because we can. The rarest tourmaline forms colorless, which kind of looks like a colorless diamond, only it doesn't have the refraction, right? Again, we're back to what gives color in gemstones. And like we said, it could be anything from boron, nitrogen, beryllium. It can be chromium. It can be magnesium. It can be sulfur. All the elements in the earth cause a gemstone to have color. Everybody kind of get that? But in pure form, if it didn't have it, it would be colorless. All right? The tourmaline is a gem found in Brazil, East Africa, Mozambique. And one of the rarest colors is the Paraiba or Paraiba tourmaline. You see, I don't know if you can see it very well, but you probably can on this one. It has a neon blue color to it. You see that on at least on those monitors, you kind of see it on the squared one. It glitters. Anybody ever seen a Paraiba tourmaline? No, it's the Brazilian mine where it comes from. That color, the neon color, is colored by copper. Okay, it is so rare that those stones command in quality a price of 20 to 30,000 a carat. Okay, they're very rare, very hard to come by. The mine was open for about 20 years. Most people didn't even know because it was a relatively new mine in Brazil. They didn't know what they had. They figured out what it was, how rare it was, and then as the government took over, figured out, oh, somebody's making money, and it's not us, the government. Not that we've ever heard that before, but they took over the mine, and we just don't see much material out of it anymore. It's copper tourmaline from the Mina area of Brazil, and that's where you see the Paraiba name come from, and they are, again, the rarest. Tourmalines, like I said, come in every color you can ever imagine. It's a great gem if you like colored gems. But again, if you ever come across the neon blue variety of it, and like, did I say copper colored that or the iron? I said copper, right? Copper, the copper colors other colors besides neon blue, but neon blue is the rarest of the colors. All right. 2009 is when the last mine was in operation in Brazil. So here you go. $30,000 a carat. These other colors of tourmalines might command $200, $300, $400, $500 a carat, whereas the neon blue will command up to $30,000 in the finest qualities. Pretty cool. All right, moving on. Time's getting short. I go back one. All right. Topaz. Most people don't think topaz is an expensive stone. In this particular color, it is. This is imperial topaz. Okay. It has got a salmon color to it. So anytime you see imperial topaz, and it's usually concentrated on the ends here, the color, and it also can command prices between 10 and 15,000 a carat. It's extremely rare, all right? Red to reddish orange in color and 6,000 per carat. That's actually wrong. It can even be higher than that. So you kind of see it better on these monitors than this screen, but it is a very rare color of topaz. And we trade term that imperial. All right, rarest color of sapphire. Here we go. This is a pinkish colored sapphire, has a little orange in it. The name of it is called a pod paracha. All right, this pod paracha. Pod paracha comes from the lotus plant, lotus flower. That's where this color comes from. All right, typically they're found in Madagascar, Sri Lanka, and this material can exceed 60,000 a carat. Extremely rare. Okay, pretty cool. All right, but the rarest color, pod paracha. Love the name, lotus flower. All right, emeralds. All right, this is an emerald here. This is called the chalk emerald at 37.82 carats. Emeralds come from all over, to include the US. You probably can find one in your backyard, but is it quality? That's another story. The finest emeralds come from Colombia. Second materials would be Brazil, Zambia, but again, they come from Afghanistan, come from everywhere, emeralds. But commercial importance is what we look at in gems. This particular Colombian emerald that you can see here, they form hydrothermal water heat. They typically have 3-phase inclusions. I mean, what girl wouldn't want that on your finger? This is a ring. This one resides in the Smithsonian here, also was donated by Harry Winston and has 15 carats of diamonds. This, when we see emeralds, we look at the depth of color, the saturation of color, the tone of color, the evenness of color, and most importantly, how well a gem transmits light or transparency. And emeralds, because of their hydrothermal formation, they have a lot of inclusions, all right? 3-phase inclusions, gas, liquid, and a solid, are only found in Colombian emeralds. So we can say that's from Colombia, because that's the only place they come from. All right? Pretty kind of cool. Almost done here. Winding it down here. Synthetic versus natural diamonds. Now, this is what I want to end up. They're now marketing synthetic diamonds. What's the difference? One takes about 30 days to make. One takes about 30 million to 2.5 billion years to make, right? And the price difference is dramatic. All right, how do we make synthetic diamond? We take a cross section of diamond, very thin, as thick as your hair, and we grow it. All right, we pass a gas through it. What gas do we pass through it? The process is called CVD, or chemical vapor deposition. This is a machine. Dianetics has one. They use it in the DoD level on different things. I'm assuming sometimes for space, because diamonds are a wonderful semiconductor. All right. In every computer, there's a diamond. In every stereo, there's a diamond. In every electronic, there's a diamond. It's an industrial diamond. It pulls heat away. It conducts on the space shuttle windows. Diamond does, because it's thermal conductivity. It pulls that heat and holds it. Okay, that's probably why they use it in Dianetics. The synthetic diamonds, they're about 94 to 95% of the price of a natural. How about that? They share the same chemical properties, they share the same atomic properties. The interesting thing though, there's no value to synthetic after you buy it. All right? So because there's no rarity, values related to rarity. So synthetic diamonds cost money, but they're not as much as natural. All right? Methane and hydrogen gas is how they pass through this substrate of thin diamond, and they grow it. It takes about 30 days. They cut it, and then they put it to another process called high pressure, high temperature, HPHT, to get it to a white status, because they're typically yellow when they come out of the growing process. All right? And 1450 degrees, they put it in the chamber to grow it, and that's what it is. And I think that concludes my presentation. Wow. Any questions?
Wow.
Yes, Mr. Kern.
What is your take on AOC's new engagement ring? She says it's totally recycled and zero carbon emissions.
I'm all in. She likes it on.
You know, they just came out yesterday.
People take ashes and they using the synthetic process to put their people's ashes in diamonds. It's not uncommon. They send them into space, it's whatever you like, you know. Any other questions?
They have the same clarity, they have the same clarity as the same.
Synthetics?
properties, yeah.
Good question. Yes, they're graded the same. They're graded the same. And as a gemologist, they're the same atomically and chemically. So they test the same.
So how you tell the difference?
It's a good question. And so guess what the answer is? You don't. They're laser inscribed, lab grown on the edge. Takes about 60 magnification to see the laser inscription to know that they're lab grown. Can lab grown get into the regular mainstream? Yes. Are there machines to check the difference? To answer your question, yes, but the machines are not cheap to do. Yes, sir.
Does a diamond cutter use a pattern or is he all freehand cutting?
It depends. So it depends on your area. For instance, in Bombay, India, there's 500,000 cutters kicking a wheel to cut a diamond on a diamond scaff. So 500,000 doing old time. In Belgium, it's all computerized. So it depends on your area. A lot of mines, I have to tell, not all of them, but a lot of mines support the communities of miners. They pay them, not every one of them. Depends on if you're in a bad area of South Africa, the blood diamond and all that. There is still some of that. There's a process we put into place called the Kimberley process, which eliminates blood diamonds into the mainstream diamond market. Do diamonds slip through? They do, but it's not often. We have also cut all Alarosa diamonds off. Alarosa Russian diamonds. No more Russian diamonds right now. Can't get them. They're mined in the Urals of Russia. Those guys, Urals meaning Siberia, those guys are dealing through a permafrost to get into the diamonds where they have to use jet engines turned upside down just to get to the ground. It's interesting, but we don't see that right now because we're not buying anything from Russia, so. Any other questions? Yes, sir.
What is the temperature down in deep in the earth when the original diamonds are formed? What is the temperature that these things are made at?
That's a good question. They estimated around 18 to 2,000 degrees. So, and that's where it gets yellow. And that takes quite some time. There's another seminar altogether about talking about pipe and alluvial deposits and how we get diamonds. At one time in the turn of the century in Africa, you could walk on a beach and pick diamonds up. Do you know that? That's because they were brought by the rivers down to the beach. Nobody was mining them, and that's where they lay. And you could just look at the sand and see diamonds in there, and they did. How do you think De Beers got all that control? De Beers, by the way, only controls about 28% of the rough market. They used to control 80%.
One final question, but over in Arkansas where they.
Crater of Diamonds?
Right, yeah.
Yes, sir.
Did any come out of there?
Absolutely. Absolutely. I know of about a 7 carat that came out of it. I held it. I've seen it. Fancy yellow. They had a famous designer, Charles Dunier, design a ring for Hillary. And she got that. I was holding the ring before she got it in the 80s. That was her inaugural ring when Bill got in.
Anybody want a free gem?
Yeah, make sure on your way out, grab a free gem. Reed, great job. You proved me wrong. Great job.
Here's your remote back, ready?
All right, and with that, let's all stand and close with a 4-way test, please. Right, of all the things that we think, say, or do. First,
Is it true?
second,
Is it fair to all concerned?
third,
Will it be
and fourth.
beneficial to all concerned?
Thanks for being here today. Thanks for being Rotarians.
Okay.